Hello and welcome to Fusion Writing, where building character meets creating structure. We are in our Tuesday map day, and oh, do we have a lot of fun for you in our Zettelkasten week. I'm not going to spoil a minute of the surprise. I'm sending it right over to Victoria. Victoria?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the map. Hopefully you've got lots of ideas and note cards that you're working with. You're starting to think about your story or the project that you're writing. So now that we're here to talk for our Zettelkasten week, Kathleen's going to work with you very specifically in terms of keeping your note box in good order, making sure you know where things are so you have them at hand for the writing process. The piece that I want to stress today is it's all about keeping your creativity primary, leaning into your work process, and making sure ultimately that you're getting your writing done. So let's talk about that first piece, which is keeping your creativity as your primary focus. We as creatives know you're scratching down things on note cards, maybe you're drafting things out by hand on a pad, however you're getting that story out of your head and onto the page so that you can work with it. When it comes to your note cards, you may recall when I talked to you about your zero draft and collecting all of those little bits of information. And we talked about how to workflow that into a work in process so that you're getting that story fleshed out. Well, what are you doing in that process that's making sure that you're keeping your creativity primary? I like to call that the raw life of data. Raw life data is the things that you're collecting. So when Kathleen talks with you about how to include your character information into your note box, this is the counterpoint to that. You're always keeping those random collections, ideas, thoughts, and notes going, and you're keeping them on the cards. The thing that's important to me is that you don't get hung up on where they go, how am I going to file it, how am I going to use it. Trust the process. Trust that if I know all of my collected experiences go under 6,200 and that's where they live, you don't have to worry about that because that's where they live. The thing that you need to worry about is when you sit down to write that scene or that chapter, pull that little group of cards, deal them out on the table, think about your scene, and look at those cards and decide, ooh, I can use this bit of information, I can use this bit of information. Then where do the rest go? You gather them up, they go back under 6,200 or wherever your experiences live. So in that process, it's a very easy and free workflow. Too often, what I've noticed, if you're following my videos, people get stuck in the plot box because it's number 7001 through number 7024. Those numbers are always in order. And you get in the weeds of, well, where do things go and how do I number them? The answer is, it doesn't matter because your creativity is primary. So maybe this idea, this information, this note goes somewhere towards the front. Okay, it's in the front. It's there for safekeeping. And this idea, you know, this has to go almost at the very end of my story because it's one of the final revelations. So you just tuck it into the back. They're just placeholders. So in that process, when you're working in your Zettelkasten and you're lining out the order that things are going to happen in, don't get hung up in the numbers. Trust that you know where your character cards are going to be. Kathleen's going to share that. You know where your experiences are going to be. You know where your research lives because you've properly indexed it under your keywords so that when you need it, you can go back and find it. So if I can stress any one thing for this Zettelkasten week, it's allow your creativity to stay primary and keep that workflow a little bit loose as you're working with the cards because ultimately you know where they're going to be. They're going to be filed in your note box. Allow your plot box to be a place to play and develop ideas, and then always keep those drafts, those work in progress ideas going on the page. Pull from your note box when you need it. The last thing I would stress when working from Zettelkasten to drafting to ideas and back is keep your Zettelkasten clean. Don't pull out 40 cards, write your draft, and pile those 40 cards on the side of the desk. This is where I hammer you about keeping things tidy, because trust me when I say you do not want to sit down at your desk to get some writing done and have the prior day's 40 cards stacked up to the side. Number one, when you go back to find them, they're not going to be where you think they should be. Trust me, I have searched long and hard for cards that I knew were under 6,200, but I didn't refile them. So always do that little bit of tidying and housekeeping when you're finished with your writing session. Set a timer for 5 minutes and just refile those cards where they belong, or tuck them into your plot box where they go in the story. One of the two will always get you back to those ideas, those resources, those notes, things that you need to have at hand. So keep your creativity primary. Pull the cards that you need as you're doing your draft or your work in progress. Don't be afraid to just tuck them into your plot box where you think they might go. Do the writing, get the words on the page. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be saved in a draft. And then when you're finished with that process, go back to your Zettelkasten and put away the cards that you didn't use where they live, and the cards that you did use either safekeeping in the plot box or backfiled where they live in your Zettelkasten. So that completes an overview of the creative process through the writing process and making sure that you keep your ideas safe in the note box and always safe at hand. So with that, I will throw it back over to Kathleen to walk you through some of those more specific details for making sure that you're using your Zettelkasten for good and not evil.
Wow, Victoria, I absolutely love that. I don't know why I am just now learning. It's finally sinking into my brain. The idea that you could, when you pull one of those experience cards and you're going to use it in your opening scene, you can actually store that card temporarily in that plot point, right in your plot box. So your plot box isn't just a collector of things that are this happens, then this happens, then this happens. All of those resources can temporarily live in your plot box right where they're going to need to be when you're using them. What a revelation. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Even your character cards can live there. If you've got something about a character that is a memory, a flashback, something that they hold as a character trait that needs to flip, put it in the box where that flip needs to happen to remind you to go back to your character traits and pull those things to make sure you get them in the story.
Oh, that is wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Victoria. Well, my section on the Zettelkasten is talking about where are you going to store all this information that you gleaned about your character. Now, I want to just share with you briefly, over on LiLLiPub, you can get a copy of this character profile worksheet that Deb Hart created. We're also going to have them available on lillipub.org, where you can buy a pad of 50 of these. And man, I really want to have these so I don't have to empty my cartridges printing them, because this is a really handy way to collect the character traits. And I also have a set of videos over there on LiLLiPub on exactly how to use this to build your character cards. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about where they go in the Zettelkasten and how do you put the character traits that you have figured out belong to your character. How do you store that information onto cards and then put them into your Zettelkasten? So I'm going to be using my down-facing camera so I can show you the actual cards, and so that I can show you how it ties in to the character development cards that Victoria has given us in earlier lessons. So come on over and to the down-facing camera. I'm going to share that with you right now, and we'll talk about how to store character, something as nebulous as a character, into a Zettelkasten. Okay, if you have my book, Writing with Emotion, or if you have the handouts that we put into LiLLiPub when we were introducing the idea of finding your character's character traits, and I'll put a link to it in this week's LiLLiPub resources as well, then you're used to this diagram for the character profile. And I want to introduce you to what the different positions, just review what we've covered so far. We've talked about the rudder traits. Remember how I put my hands out like wings? This is where you steer the character direction, are these yellow traits. And that's, we're going to actually draw them out onto a character profile diagram. And then these down-facing ones, these are your anchor, and they're down-facing, which reminds you that they anchor you into place. And then these are your wing traits up here. They fly into the air, and so that's why they're up-facing. And so this is where they would go on our character profile diagram. And I'm going to give you an example. Now, how do I draw that? Some of our people, I'm thinking of Vanessa Sperling now, does beautiful diagrams with the circular character trait. Not being very artistic myself, I substituted this little dot and spokes as being a simple way. So for me, this is where I'm going to put my rudder traits for my character. This is where I'll put the anchor traits, and this is where I'll put the wing traits. We'll talk about these other two positions coming up starting in January. So we're going to focus on these traits right now. And my character, if you're used to my numbering system from Reawaken the Dream of Writing, this will be familiar to you. First, we have 4,000, which is our writing area. It's project number 5 because it's not my first, but my second project. My first was, oh, surprise, surprise, Reawaken the Dream of Writing, the course. And then 10, that's my characters. And character 01 is just the first character that I'm dealing with, Edwin Marston. And point 1 is where the character profile diagram lives for me in my Zettelkasten. So it has a home. So the character traits that we assign to the character can be stored right on this wheel, and we can keep track of them very readily. And then there's another very important part of these character traits, because when you decided what character trait you had, you would make up a little story in your mind of how did that character trait come about as he grew up or in his life, or how does it show up in his life? You need a little reminder that brings courtesy to life. So it's not just a word, but so that it's the feelings of what that means. And so when you're done thinking of your story, then on the card, which is called a memory prompt list, which is card 2 in my system, you would indicate the character trait and a little line, a single line or 2 lines at most, that describe how or why that character trait applies. So in this case, Edwin Marston is a grumpy retired college professor, and courtesy is something that he can choose to do or not to do. It's totally under his control, as you'll remember rudder traits are. And so the little tagline for his story is, gotta be nice to keep the soup in the bowl. What? Oh, that's a surprise element of the story. When you read the book, you'll find out what the soup in the bowl means. But the point of this tagline is that when I read this, I'll remember the soup in the bowl incident, and it's going to bring back to my mind the role that courtesy has for this character. He also has a wing trait, 2 of them, patience and meekness. And so each of those will also have their very own taglines to bring back the story that lets me know why those things are up there in the wing position where he cannot accomplish too much in terms of controlling them. And then finally down here, the other position we've covered so far, the anchor position, he's a college professor, a PhD. Well, he's got circumspection and foresight down pretty darn well. And indeed, those 2 also have their little storylines that show up on this card. To tie into Deb's outline is that once she has a set of questions you can ask yourself that will help you figure out what character trait the character has. And in the process of doing that, those little stories are going to come into your mind, and you can use those for your taglines. But we have an awful lot more information about our characters besides their personality characteristics. And that is all of the character development cards that Victoria has given us. Now here I'd like to remind you of a handout that you've been given earlier that we'll also put in this week's, that gives all of Victoria's card layouts. So she has quite a number of character traits that have nothing to do with things like courtesy and circumspection. These are information about the character that make him a visible, relatable individual that you can actually picture in your mind and place in society. And these are all, in her system, they all get numbers that end in a letter of the alphabet. For her, this character would be 7110, A, B, C, D, and so on. She goes all the way, I think, to the letter O in this set of character traits. Well, where do they fit if you are following the system of Reawaken the Dream of Writing? In that case, you're in the 45, you're probably in the 4410 areas, and that they all go under 3. You can see how that fits into the numbering, 1, 2, 3. And not only that, from this point on, it exactly matches Victoria's system. I can now take each of these cards and fill them out. I'll have a dot 3A, a dot 3B, and so on. And all of the information about the character can be kept in one convenient place in your Zettelkasten. So whenever you need to refer to anything about each of your characters, you'll know exactly where to go to capture all that information. So I hope that helps you figure out where and how you're going to store your character information in your Zettelkasten so that you can get back to it easily, and how you can actually store a character's entire personality on 2 cards. So now I'd like to turn it over to Victoria to sum us up. Victoria?
That was amazing. It's so cool that it doesn't matter how you set up your system. The important thing is that you're consistent and you find ways to join things together in such a way that it makes sense to you. So what Kathleen has done beautifully is demonstrate how easy it is to simply designate space for things and make sure that you can always find your way back. And then the upshot of that is when you sit down to start writing, maybe you're going to pull that character trait card and you're going to slot it into your Act 2 space in your plot box because you're thinking that's where you're going to need it. And then when you're done writing, you just put it back. That's the beauty of using the Zettelkasten as your center point for getting your writing done. And then sticking with the organization so that when you're done, things go back where they belong, and then you always have them at hand. It absolutely is the best system on the planet. I know I sound like a crazy person, but I literally couldn't get my writing done without it. So get to your note box, start developing those cards, do your character trait work, because there is nothing more solid than the system that Kathleen has lined out for you. And don't be afraid to experiment, because at the end of the day, those happy accidents of looking at those cards together is often how you're going to solve story problems and ultimately get the writing done.
Thank you so much, Victoria. And once again, it fits so well together with what you were presenting earlier today, because if I need a certain aspect of my character, I can just put that right into the plot point where I need it, and then it's handy for me. I don't have to go dig it out. But when I'm done using it, it's got to go back so that the next time I'm ready to find it, it's there. And I just love Victoria's multiple set of cards that really get you thinking about all of these details. You might think, well, why do I need all those details? But you do, because you have to flesh him out as a real person. And when you think about it, and you think about it with the character traits as well, suddenly you can realize, oh, that's why he drives that kind of car. Oh, you'll be surprised at how relevant the character's personality is with those attributes that you're going to be giving to him when you fill out those cards that Victoria has supplied. I love working together. It's just opening me up tremendously to the possibilities, and I hope it will be for you as well. So this is the end on YouTube for the week, but we meet over in LiLLiPub. Over there, we have a circle for Zettelkasten that's just about the Zettelkasten, but what you'll probably most be interested in is our Fusion Writing section, where you can pick up wonderful worksheets like this worksheet that Deb prepared, and other postings like Victoria's character cards are all present in our resources. I know that we've been distributing them pretty much lesson by lesson, but with this week, I'm going to collect them all together into a resources tab over in LiLLiPub. So wherever it had been that you were given it, you'll be able to go find it in the resources. So come on over to LiLLiPub. We also have a meeting every Saturday where we share writing and discuss it. And we'd love to see you in our Zoom call so we can get to know you. Anything else, Victoria?
Nope. We hope to see you guys. Come join us and we'll workshop together every Saturday.
Okay. Bye-bye.
See ya.